So the daily create for the 3rd of September was create your headless DS106 portrait. Now I've already made a few of these, so I thought I'd try something a wee bit different, and I ended up with this picture on an iPad, which I then made into an animated GIF. Over on Flickr, Pascal said, would you share the steps? So this is it, how I did this thing. So I started off on the iPad, and I took a series of pictures of my face in roughly the same position using the photo booth app. So you can see we've got a series of different pictures with roughly the same background, same position. And then I tried to take a couple without myself. There's a wee bit of shoulder in there, but it worked out okay. And I put those on a photo stream so that they would end up on my Mac. I then switched to my Mac and took a photograph of me in the same rough position, holding the iPad up to the screen. I took a photograph in Photo Booth. Once I've got that in Photo Booth, I drag it off and drop it onto Fireworks to open up and create a new Fireworks document. And you can see here we've got the Fireworks document, we've got a picture of me, and it's one frame, and it's on what's called the background layer. So what I'm going to do with that layer is share the layer to frame, so that will be going right across all the different layers. I'm now going into layer 1. Now I've already got Fireworks set up the way I like to work when animating GIFs. I've got my frames window here, got the tools window open, the optimize, I'm just going to change that to animated GIF, but I'll footer with that later. And I've got my layers here. I could open or close all these from the Windows menu. So now what I'm going to do is tab into iPhoto, where my pictures have come across my photo stream, grab an image and Command tab back into Fireworks and drop that picture onto the image I'm working on. From the modify menu, I'm going up to the transform menu and numeric transform and scale 40%. Drag it up roughly to where I want it. I'm going to click on the distort tool here. You can choose it from the wee pop-up. Which should let me then distort this picture to where I want it. I just want it fitting inside the iPad with a bit of margin around the sides. I'm not being too fussy. Here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is make a new frame. The bottom of the frames window, new frame. Click that, gives me the background goes across. I tab into iPhoto again. Grab the next image that I want to use. Command tab back into Fireworks. Drop it on. Transform 40%. Move it roughly where I want it. Distort tool. Distort away like mad. And so on. Now I'm going to continue and do the next few frames. And I'll see it on the other side. So I've now got 6 frames. I can play these by clicking the wee play doofer at the bottom of the main window. And you can see they're going through. I'm going to make one last frame. So I'll go to the end frame and make a new frame. And this is for the headless one. So I'm going to start by taking the photograph of the room without much of me. Drop it on, go through the same routine, shrink it down. It's popped off the window, so I'm just using the properties palette to move it somewhere I can grab it. And get the distort. Move the corners. Okay. I'm now going back and getting the picture with me in it. Dropping it on top. You can see it's in this layer here just above that one, so I'll move it up a bit like this. I want to scale it down a wee bit, so I'm going to maybe just scale it 90 just so that I can see both my shoulders. I'm going to use the lasso tool. Now if I did this in Photoshop, for instance, you could use a magnetic lasso, which would do a much better job. Oops, I'll tidy that up later. I'm just cutting out my head and shoulders, or cutting out my shoulders and torso, I suppose. So one right there, and then off, and all the way along. And I'm going to go select, inverse, delete. I'm just going to get that last wee bit too, or a bit of it. That's fine as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to then choose, I'll start with the scale tool actually. So I'm selecting, I'll just shrink that down. So it fits on top of the other photograph. Not too bad. It's just about covered up my shoulders where I was ducking out. I don't think anybody will notice. And what I'm going to do now is group those, just so I select them both and then Apple G to group them. Now the only thing, there's a couple of things I want to change. I want to change the frame rate, so I'm selecting all the frames and double clicking on the 7, and I'll slow it down a bit. And the very last one, I'm going to double click and set to 100 so it'll hold for a whole second. I'm playing this. And the trouble is that some of the pictures are slightly different sizes. So what I'm going to do is swap the layers around so the background layer's on the top. So I'll grab the top layer and drag it down. Oops. Apple Z. That's better. Now if I play it through, you don't see the hidden layers. But what I can do now is just get the polygon tool and working on what was the background layer and is now the foreground layer, and delete that out, and then I'll just play that. So once I'm happy with that, I can have a wee look. Let's close the frame window down now so I can see the preview button. And that's telling me that's about 500k, but at the moment that's quite a big. So I'm going to modify my image size and take it down to 500 pixels across. Okay, and I can see that full size now. And you can see the 147k, which is not bad at all. I'm maybe going to swap and see if I make it exact. It's not made that much difference. So all I would do now is go File, export. And I'll stick it on the desktop. And just in case I want to edit this again, I'm going to save this project, but I'll save it as a fireworks PNG. So I've still got the PNG, which I can edit if I wanted to edit any more. But also on my desktop, I've got my GIF 150k. That looks not too bad to me.